Hey there, it's me, RJB, and of course I am back again with yet another best of series between none other than Brain, Leebokgu, in the best of series. So without further ado, let's head over to the game itself. Let's start the replay. And so yeah, I recently managed to get my hands on this set of replays. These replays are from July 15th of 2020. Which means that these are very, very recent replays. Which also means we should be seeing some of the very best of the very best action on fastest map. Because while both players are probably at their best ever. At least that's what I can say about Leebokgu. He's been improving steadily over the past few years. And he's been growing into probably, in my opinion, one of the best 1 versus 1 players. Particularly on Protoss. He is absolutely insane on Protoss. He's here on the Protoss, the blue Protoss, and we've got Brain here on the red Terran. Starting off with a very basic build order of starting his barrack on 8 supply, as most players do. Going for a 3 barrack build order, of course, because, well, he's one of those players who recognizes that going for a 2 barrack build order is simply a little bit too risky, and I completely agree with him. Leebokgu is going for a little bit more of a standard build order, it appears. Goes for the 2... Well, actually, I'm not sure whether he started the Nexus. He started at Nexus first, so Nexus into 3 gateways right there. Not in particularly a fan of 3 gateway build order after a Nexus without a Forge. He might be making a Forge right here, right now, but that means that his choke here in the front will be up rather late. But he will have at least 3 Zealots coming out very soon, and he'll have that production up and running to try and keep Brain out of his base. But Brain already knows where Leebokgu is. He already knows because he's chasing that probe back home, because the probe, of course, is going right back home. Although he's adding a command center there, he's not planning on being very aggressive here. He's planning on being a little bit passive because he has that 3 barracks there, no longer producing any Marines. And he's actually, it appears, unsure where, because he didn't see this pylon there in the choke when he was moving around here with his Marines. He assumed that Leebokgu might be somewhere else on the map, but in fact he was wrong. And that's also why he decided against continuing his Marine production and going for a +2 command center there, because he is assuming that Leebokgu is going to play very passive for the first 6 or 7 minutes and then try to get things rolling. So that might be a small miscalculation there on Brain's end. I'm not sure if this is going to backfire at all, because the +2 command center this early on against 3 gateways is pretty darn risky. Starmantis Core is now on the way. Brain is scouting everything. He's got all the information he needs, but Leebokgu is already trying to get something done here. He doesn't want to waste those Zealots by just keeping them there in his choke. He wants to start moving out, but he's getting denied here pretty quick because he didn't have enough Zealots out just yet. He needed 3 more to be able to face against all those Marines there. A total of 12 Marines. He needed 8 Zealots in total. So you have to wait for reinforcements to arrive, but during that time, Brain has made a pretty smart move of building depots here in front of that entrance there. The Marines, of course, standing behind it. Marines can still pass through it. Marines can still pass through it. And the Zealots, of course, can't. They have to fight through those depots first, but Brain is not going to let that happen. So yeah, the game is pretty much in a stalemate here, and the build order from Leebokgu, where he goes for 3 gateways into a single assimilator, into Cybercore, into a second assimilator, might slightly backfire here because his Robo is late. The Citadel of the Doom is also a little bit late, and he might have trouble getting that second Robo up in time, which gives Brain a lot of time to build up, get his defenses ready, and start to solidify his defenses against the incoming aggression from Leebokgu. Leebokgu, of course, will be going for... he's going here for a frontal attack and attacking all depots at the same time, and there's no SVs there to repair, so he's going to break through, and Brain, who discontinued his Marine production, is on a very low Marine count, but eventually the Marines do come out on top, because the Zealots had to tank so much damage to try and break through that wall. This might not have been worth it for Leebokgu, because that's only 100 minerals lost there for Brain, although those SCVs of course have to repair, which also costs some money, is some lost mining time as well with those 2 SCVs, but he keeps his choke here up alive and almost loses no Marines whatsoever, whereas Leebokgu, I think he lost about 6 of his Zealots there. That's a 600 mineral loss there. Not sure if that's worth it. Doesn't sound worth it to me to get 100 minerals in exchange for losing 600. Which also means that his next attack is actually going to be weaker than if he had held on to those Zealots. We're already seeing Brain here adding on turrets there to the side. He's got that factory up and running. Second factory on the way. There's no siege mode, no tank yet. He wants to get that starport there first so he can build a Wraith. And with the Wraith, he's going to try to kill that shuttle. But you won't have that Wraith up in time because the starport is only halfway done and the Reaver is already halfway in the process of being warped in. Second robo there on the way. He's got that robotic support bay also finished up. He's got this gravitic boosters there on the way. No storm gate being researched just yet. He's throwing down cannons first as anti-drop. Because he doesn't want to lose his probes, because losing his probe against a player like Brain is pretty much a death sentence. Once again goes in for that frontal movement into the middle of the map, going to try to get some damage down here on the front, while I think trying to distract for this Reaver to fly in, or maybe he's going to fly that Reaver up here into the front to attack those depots here with the Reaver Scarab damage, which is actually a pretty good option here because Brain moved a lot of Marines there to the back, which means that everything he has here in the front will not be strong enough to hold off this frontal attack. It's now going to be coming in from Leebokgu, but Brain might move his Marines from the back to the front. No, he's not yet moving his Marines from the back to the front. Siege mode is finished just about now, so he can't really commit to it. He tried to, but the siege tank they're finishing up really puts a halt to this aggression, because every single time he unloads that Reaver, it's gonna get attacked and shot on by the tanks. And then he has to first also tear through these depots, but there's 8 Marines here in these bunkers, and of course Marines there behind the depots as well, which are gonna hold that off. They just have 2 Dark Templars here in the front, but the Dark Templars cannot get in, because there's a turret there as well, zoning those Dark Templars away. He's gonna try to fly them in with this shuttle. But first, this Reaver drop here on the bottom side of the map, off his base, is going to come in undetected. Brain, you might be in for more than you bargained for. He's going to try to keep those SCVs alive and safe, so running them back and forth to and fro. The Scarabs are not hitting anything whatsoever, which means he's going to lose this shuttle and the Reaver there. He's unloading the shuttle, unloading the Reaver, tries to get some damage. He kills about 6 or 7 Marines there, but doesn't get anything done in the end. Which now means that we're looking at a pretty nasty situation here for Leebokgu, as he's already in danger of losing his cannons here in the front to this tank there shooting over the hill, with the help of this barrack providing vision past the hill. The tank's going to take that cannon down, which also means that now Leebokgu has to change his rally points to here, or keep his rally points here, if he doesn't want to have his units attacked by the tank. Also 2 tanks here up on the hill, to try and abuse the advantage that he has from this tank behind it, and from being so close to his opponent to the next level, to be even more annoying than he already was. 2 Dark Templars here on the side. It gets scanned because of course Brain knows that something is coming in, and he scans it just in time. So he knows that that's there on the side. He knows that something has to be coming from the other side here as well. So that I think he probably knows that Leebokgu is going to go for a double-sided attack. So he's putting Marines next to his command center tanks there as well. Goes in with 1 attack. This has a lot of units in there. He's trying to stim down the units, and he's pulling his workers away at the same time as well. Templars there on the low ground, but the Templars don't get much done. They storm on the tanks. Our Templars there on the other side as well, taking down turrets. But he holds this one pretty well. Shuttles there staying alive, flying away from the base to safety. And the Dark Templar there on the side takes out 2 turrets, but the turrets are going to get replaced by this SCV. So not much loss there for Brain. Although he is losing mining time, he does have 67 SCVs there, so it's not something he worries about all that much. The game is looking pretty damn good. Although he does have, I think, 16 or so. Well, he didn't load all of them up. There's 12 Zealots in there. He's going to land them somewhere inside of Brain's base, try to get some damage done, kill some turrets, and buy time and distract for a drop coming in from his base, although that drop in his base is not yet finished up. But he's going to unload those units here inside of Brain's base nonetheless and try to get something done. Going for a turret there on the side, goes for the bunker there in the front. These Zealots there on the side are just standing there. Well, they're going to get some kills there as well, so pretty good job there from Leebokgu. Brain holds it pretty well. The losses are not too substantial there for Brain, but the drop coming in here from the bottom side is almost uncontested. Brain is almost just in time. The SCVs are running away. Gets a storm off. Storms on the Marines. There's 1 more storm in there. He gets 2 SCV kills with that second storm. The third storm hits almost nothing. And there might still be something in here. There's nothing in there. So yeah, Leebokgu is throwing punches, but the punches are failing to connect. But although the damage he's doing is better than doing no damage at all, the damage is almost at a minimum. Although Brain, looking at his supply count, is pretty far behind his supply. Leebokgu has a lot of supplies, got 67 probes, the exact number I think that he wants, and he's already in the process of loading up another drop. He's got more shuttles here on the other side that he should be sending back home to load up for another drop at the same time there as well. Tanks are still there up on the hill. He's going to land a couple more there up on the hill as well to keep Leebokgu's base really small and force Leebokgu to build either here on this side or start building a proxy base there on another base. So in he goes. He finds a pretty good angle there. Not a lot of turrets there in between. But there's Goliath on the low ground firing on the shuttles. Shuttles are unloading as these are running away. There's Templars in there as well, but Templar Storm kind of misses. Does kill about 4 SCVs there that were still on the minerals and not hotkeyed, but most of the stuff stays alive. Although there's a lot of Zealots now running amok inside of Brain's base, and Brain, being low on supply, is actually in a pretty tough spot here that I didn't expect to be seeing him in, because those Zealots here are doing a pretty good job of disrupting his income, his economy, and his ability to build, while I'm sure Leebokgu is already filling up another mass drop here in his base, and is going to throw that one in very soon as well. So Brain actually suffering from having to pull his workers away from his minerals time and time again, and not having that many Marines left to try and kill ground forces that are being dropped inside his base. Do note though that Leebokgu can't really unload here because there's tanks up on the hill here that are going to one-shot those units being loaded here. It means that Leebokgu is going to have to find a new place to unload at. Probably somewhere around here would be a great spot, but of course he might not be in the process or have the ability to think about it that much. Tanks are up on the hill doing a lot of work. They're getting stormed to death though, because Leebokgu has to storm something with those Templars that are never going to arrive here on the SCV. So he's getting as much done as he can. He kills a lot of ground forces there, Goliaths, tanks, and Marines going down. But in the end, his drop does not get much results. And more tanks are being loaded up here up on the hill, with the aim, of course, to further disrupt what Leebokgu is trying to do. Another mass drop here being loaded up. This is pretty much just a mass drop game. He already has a fleet beacon on the way. He wants to transition into carriers very soon, but he needs a proxy base to build more Stargates, and he needs a little bit more gas as well, because at the moment he cannot afford it. But the drop comes in there, unloading on top of the tanks. That's a lot of Zealots there coming inside of his base. This might actually be more than Brain can handle, because that's about 24 Zealots, or 20 Zealots, I think. And the amount of units in his base is not that substantial, and at the moment he has nothing. Well, he's got 7 SCVs mining, but his income is pretty much gone, so he's going to have to wait for another wave of units to spawn before he can fight this off. And this might actually be one of those rare cases where Brain is going to somehow lose the game there as a Terran. He has lost his Terran a couple of times in the past against top players, and Leebokgu is kind of a top player himself, but the command centers there are being repaired as the Zealots are being clipped away as the SCVs are going through the Zealots, which forces the Zealots away. The Zealots now have to turn around and go for other units there. There's a lot of Zealots here, and the units might not be sufficient, as I've said before, because these Zealots are simply tearing through all those units. Quite curiously, Leebokgu went for level 1 shield upgrade first set of weapons, and he's still killing units here. Brain has somewhat restarted mining, but he's lost 10 SCVs to the Zealots in the process. He's finally clearing out all the units there on his command center, but Leebokgu, of course, not gonna give him any more time. He's got that next drop there loaded up. That's 6 shuttles there, all filled up. Well, not all of them, most of them, I think, are filled up with units. He's not being very diligent with loading them all up. He just wants to send out another drop, keep up the pressure. There's a lot of vultures here on the scene. He's unloading. He's going to unload there on top of the tanks, so the tanks cannot fire on the units being unloaded, but the vultures there are going to do a lot of work, although this is, once again, way too many units for him to handle. Way too many units for him to handle. He does lose the shuttles there in the end as they fly away, but the Zealots there are still fighting, and there's only 2 Goliaths there. A couple of vultures, I think, are on the way. Goliaths are on the way. Tanks are there in the front. He does kill everything in the end by microing away to the hill here, to make sure that these tanks here on the side take down those Zealots. But nonetheless, Brain is having a very, very bad time. Do note though, he's got level 1 weapon upgrade for his mech, so at least he's got some upgrades going. Another drop there comes in. This time there's only 3 shuttles. He's going to make his way all the way in. There's almost nothing there to stop him. Templars there on the scene as well. 1 storm, 2 storm. He gets, ooh, massive storm there. He gets everything there on the bottom side. Kills about 40 SCVs that Brain still had left, and well, only 27 left now, and there's still 6 Zealots there running about in his base, and Brain has once again pretty much nothing to defend with. Did he lift up his barracks just way too early? Should he have stuck to his barracks for longer, because he's pretty much only on mech, and mech is pretty expensive, and maybe Marines would have made a difference. Now he's going to lose those turrets there on the side as well. Oh dear. Leebokgu is having a very good game, and Brain is having a very, very bad game. He's not giving any time whatsoever to recover from anything. And in part, of course, that is because he is so close to Leebokgu. Now Leebokgu takes home game number 1. Pretty convincing win, in part due to the close proximity to his opponent, where he can very quickly and easily shuttle units into his opponent's base, and Brain will never get much time to breathe. But nonetheless, it's very impressive to take a win from Brain, who has a very good Terran for his Protoss and a very good Protoss for his Terran. He's very good in every single race. He's a pretty amazing 1-1 player. So this is a really impressive win here from Leebokgu. It wasn't very clean, but he did everything he had to do and very slowly escalated the game into the next phase with every single drop, because all he had to do was keep up the pressure, keep disrupting the income, and slowly but surely, and at some point, Brain will have too few units to defend with. As we saw right there, he had too few units to defend, and it pretty much results in his demise. That's game number 1. Let's go for game number 2 and see how that one plays out. So, of course, the two players are staying on the same races. We've got Brain once again on the Terran, the olive green here on the bottom corner of the map, and Leebokgu here in the top middle of the map on the orange Protoss. Let's hide the interface right there on the bottom corner and speed up the first 2 minutes. So the last game, we had a situation where both players were really close to each other, which gives both players the option to amp up the pressure on their opponents. Whoever gets the edge first keeps the pressure up. That's basically the bottom line of being so close to each other. Now that worked out in favor of Leebokgu. But this time around we've got a little bit more distance between both bases, and we have Brain on a corner spot, which is honestly the best location to be on, because defending is significantly easier on a corner spot, because there's only 2 sides you gotta defend, which means you only have to place units, well, on only 3 sides, whereas if you're on, for example, spot number 12 as a Terran, you gotta place Marines there, here, here, and there. It's pretty tough to defend. You can, of course, also place all your Marines here, but then, of course, you got you're really dependent on the reaction time of sending your units in to intercept here on the sides. So now that that no longer is a factor for Brain, now that he is a little bit safer, I expect him to put on a more menacing performance for Leebokgu. Leebokgu is going to have more trouble fighting against Brain. And I think Leebokgu knows that because he's now on spot number 12, he's going for a completely different build order. In particular, one of my favorite build orders, where you start off with a Nexus in a pylon, well, the other way around. You start with a pylon on 8 supply, go for a Nexus as soon as you can afford it. And of course, as soon as you can afford it, you build the Forge, build the pylon there in the front as well, then you build a Gateway, and then 2 cannons are in the front to keep the opponent out. And then, of course, you transition into 2 Assimilators and a Cybernetics Core. It's a very fun tech build order. I find it really strong because you can pretty much advance into any tech you want at about the 5:30 minute mark. And then you can have a lot of options that you can apply to your opponent, how you want to kill them, how you want to damage them. It's all up to you. But here he might be showing his cards already, because he is showing the Citadel of Verdun and the Robo Facility there to Brain, who has this SFE running in circles inside of his base. Now wow, I'm having trouble speaking. The robotic facility, not the support bay, the robotics facility, of course, is pretty much a given. The Citadel of Verdun is pretty much a given, but the timing of the 2 might give away what you're up to. This one might indicate that you're going for Dark Templars, the other might indicate that you're going for a double Reaver shuttle attempt. But he's adding on 2 more gateways there. He's got 2 robots in the front. He's going to get Zealot speed, I'm sure. He's going to get a shuttle and a Reaver, double Reaver there in the front as well. So he might be going for a Zealot speed with a double Reaver in his shuttle and go for a frontal attack to get some damage or some pressure down on Brain. But Brain is already preparing himself quite well. He went for a very early +1 command center, so their worker counts are more or less the same. He's got 3 barracks there, they got stim upgrade there on the way. Kind of a late academy, but given that there's no offensive moves coming in from Leebokgu up until the 6-minute mark, or a little bit later, he can afford to get that very late stim upgrade. Also already building a wall there in the front, because of course you always need to keep units out, or at least make it harder for the enemy to get in your base than, well, if you didn't have that wall there in the front, because then of course they gotta fight through something before they can attack your units, which is always better than giving them direct access to your units by not having a wall. So 2 raids there coming in. He's gonna try to snipe that shuttle as soon as it comes flying in. He scans as well, so scans exactly on the shuttle, because he knows that the shuttle is about finishing up right now. And he had the scan upgrade there, of course, and he needs that information to determine where to send his raids to, because with those raids he can intercept the shuttle or kill the shuttle in his opponent's base. He's not going for double reaver, he's going for double shuttle. I think that was a misclick, or actually it's not a misclick, he's going for a triple shuttle drop. Now, Marines are moving out over the map. Raids also moving out and going to try and intercept the shuttles as they move out. He's going to place them somewhat strategically. I think he is expecting a Zealot attack with a double reaver. That's why he's hanging his raids here in the front, because the shuttle will be flying over here in the case Leebokgu is going for a Zealot double reaver shuttle frontal attack. But he's not. And Brain, now seeing that the timing is off, because usually you would see the shuttle with the double reaver flying in right about now, given that it's not there yet, just hanging his raids there on the side, so that whenever Leebokgu flies over this portion of the map, he's going to get intercepted by those raids, without Brain really having to put much effort into it. He just has to hang in there. 2 more raids here going to the bottom side, because that's of course the other flank he has to cover, and now that flank is very easily covered. Now do note that there's not a lot of tanks there inside of Brain's base, and not a lot of Marines there either, because he had to discontinue Marine production for small lapses of time. He only could afford a single factory if he's going for a double starport build, which means there's not a lot of tanks. Tank number 4 is now on the way, but is not there yet. Tank number 3 is there in the back. And yeah, 5 shuttles in fact, so he's not going for a triple shuttle drop, he's going for a 5 shuttle mass drop all at the same time. And he has that shuttle speed there, going to be finishing up very soon, just as about he arrives here on the bottom side near the gas. So you can fly in, and there's only a single raid there to intercept, but there's Marines there behind the turrets here, behind the hill, ready to intercept those shuttles as well. He's stacking them up. He's going to fly in. Brain is going to target one of the shuttles, but I think Leebokgu is going to unload here on the side. Loading Temples, loading Zealots there as well. He's going to go for the units there in the back as well. Templar there arrives in the back. And he kills pretty much only Marines and units here on the side there. Doesn't get any SCV kills except for that one. That one doesn't count though. That one does not count. Kills a turret, kills some Marines, and he puts some pressure up on Brain, who's already lifting up his barracks, which I think is a very, very early and risky move to do. So as we saw last game, lifting up his barracks meant that he had less units to defend with, which in the end kind of caused his early demise in that game. It caused his loss to a certain degree. But he has about, I think that's 8 raids there. He scans the entire map, trying to get information on where those shuttles are, but he can't find them, although he is putting them in the exact right position, because this is the most likely angle to be coming from. And he sees them, intercepts them, kills the shuttles, and that is a drop shut down there. And he snipes the Templar there as well. One more shuttle there alive, but there's nothing in there, and 2 more raids being added to the mass of raids. And defending drops is going to be significantly easier from this point onwards. The only thing he has to fear is a frontal attack, because Leebokgu can honestly switch over into a frontal attack, although he is adding on more Stargates, because it appears he might be planning on going for a mass Corsair shuttle attack, and the Corsairs would be taking care of the raids, which don't have cloak upgrade because there's no control tower on those starports. It's a very smart read there from Leebokgu to add more Corsairs, because Corsairs, they kill raids very, very quick. And if he kills those raids very quick, those shuttles will be able to fly through and maybe kill some SCVs here in the back, or maybe kill units in Brain's base. But he has to be quick. He has to be quick because Brain has grown pretty big in terms of supply count. He got 68 SCVs, he's still adding on a couple more, and he's finally adding more factories onto his base, and a final command center on the top. He already has 4 of them, and also 3 scans, so that's going to be a lot of information you can gather with those scans. He's got upgrades there for his ships, weapon upgrade on the way, and tank weapon upgrade on the way there as well. More factories coming down here on the side, and he looks to be pretty cozy. But this is a mass drop if I've ever seen one. There's a total of 6 Corsairs there in the mix, 7 Corsairs there in the mix, which are going to make very quick and easy work of all those raids. He stacks them up a little bit. Going to attack the raids there. Raids are getting attacked, but the shuttles are going to go down now nonetheless. These raids are flying away. Unloads 6 Zealots actually, and those 6 Zealots here, maybe even 7 Zealots here in the back, are actually doing some damage because they killed 2 tanks. Now they're going for some SCVs there as well in the back. And he killed all the raids there with the Corsairs. So in the end, the Corsairs do a lot of work, do exactly what they were intended to do. Which now means that once again, Brain is having somewhat of a problem with facing a lot of ground forces in his base that are killing things. Oh, he's not losing a lot of SCVs. He is losing, I think, about 4 tanks. Plus a turret there in the back as well, and maybe 2 or 3 SCVs. But those 2 or 3 SCVs don't really matter all that much. So he's got 71 and he's got 5 command centers. So rebuilding SCV stacks is going to be very easy and quick for him. But another drop is on the way. This time it's only 2 shuttles and 4 Corsairs. There's a couple of Goliaths here to intercept shuttles. And there's a Valkyrie there as well. And the Valkyrie there is going to, well, not add a lot of damage, but the Goliaths might make a difference here. This is only 2 shuttles, he knows it's coming, he saw it with the Marine, and another drop there coming in as well, but he's not able to target fire on the shuttles because the depots are zoning the Goliaths away, which now means that there's going to be 8 Zealots here on the low ground, and those SCVs are running away to safety. Where there they are in the front. And yeah, this drop attempt from Leebokgu did not get much done, but another drop attempt is already flying in over the front this time around. So a lot of Zealots in there, Templars there as well. He's going to unload there. No, he's going to go for the back. Starts unloading. Going to load on top of the tanks there as well. Templars there in the mix. Where are the Templars? No Templars, just Zealots. Still, one of them has units in it. He's going to unload that one on the top of the tanks there at the end. And once again, Brain is losing units there in the back. But the supply count this time around is better than last game, as he isn't losing as much mining time as last time because the distance between the 2 bases is simply too great. I really hope that Leebokgu has some Templars in the mix this time around. 4 Templars in that one. 4 Templars and about 12 Zealots coming in hot. We're flying in for the back. The Valkyries are intercepting, but the Valkyries are not killing the right shuttles, and that means that there's now 4 Templars here on the low inside of Brain's base, and 1 storm comes down. 2 storms, 3 storms with a storm. Ooh, the SCVs are getting hit really hard there. But he split up his SCVs into 3 separate groups, and only one of those 3 separate groups went down. So he only lost 20 SCVs. But losing 20 SCVs is still pretty big. And his mineral count is at the moment actually quite low. So he might not be able to rebuild his SCV stack all that quick. But do note, 5 command centers means that he can make 20 SCVs in a single minute. But of course he has to afford He has to be able to afford them, pretty much. So the biggest thing that's haunting Brain right now is that he has almost no units inside of his base. He's playing this on a knife's edge. He's playing this as close to the edge as he can. There's a mass shuttle drop there coming in, but this time around the Valkyries will take care of this, no problem at all. Templar there on the low ground. Templar Storms hits the Valkyries a little bit, but the Zealots here in the front are the bigger problem. Killed 2 of the depots, killed the bunker there as well. Eventually the units do go down, but now there's a wide open hole here in the front that Brain is going to have to plug up really quick. But Leebokgu is not going to give him much time, as he's already moved to the front to repair the hole that is there. Going to try to replace that hole with 2 depots. But this drop is going to come in from the bottom side here very quick. He flies over an SCV and then, well, a Marine here. And Marines here are going to take down pylons. He's flying away because he knows that the Valkyries might be coming in, but Brain was in fact not sending his Valkyries in. So he's scouting the entire spot, looking and trying to find where those shuttles are, but he doesn't see them, he can't find them. So he's keeping his Valkyries here in a somewhat of a neutral spot where he can send them to anywhere in his base pretty quick. I think he's assuming that the shuttle is going to come from the top side here instead of the bottom side. Leebokgu is just very patiently and smartly waiting. Did he scan them? Did he just scan them? Oh, what a madman. He knows that the drop is going to be coming from somewhere, and as long as he scans the entire side spots or Leebokgu's base, he knows where they can't be coming from. Yeah, Leebokgu is very... well, actually his base is pretty big. It's just a very wide spot to build on. A lot of gateways there. He's going to add on more stargates here for carriers, because he's got the carrier fleet beacon there on the way and already finished up. So carrier capacity should be on the way very soon as well. He's going to fly in from the bottom side here once again. This time he's got 3 Valkyries there. He's going to load there on the bottom corner to try and kill turrets. Also has units fighting against Marines and Medics there on the side as well. But first going to take down those turrets there on the side. And great storms are coming down as well. He went for 2 drops there at the same time. And once again, Brain is having trouble defending because all the units are here in the front and on the side. Nothing is there in the back. He's trying to keep his SVs there alive. He has 55 SVs left alive. No, 49 and 48. He's losing a lot of them at the same time there. That means he's got 4 groups of SCVs there, hotkeyed. And yeah, he's still losing things here on the side, losing things here in the back. Archon is moving there as well. Archon might get a pretty good hit off on those SCVs if he's going to reach in time. Oh, he's not going to reach in time, and the units in the bottom corner are also getting cleared out. Pretty good coordination and hit there from Leebokgu, who's already preparing another drop, I think. He's got more courses there on the way. Course, of course, escort those drops in, but he might also try to kill those Valkyries here inside of Brain's base. At the moment, things are looking pretty good for, well, honestly, both players. Leebokgu is doing a lot of damage, but he's not doing enough damage, because as long as Brain keeps his worker stack that is mining minerals alive, he will more or less be fine. And in the moment he took all of his SCVs off of his gas, so he has a lot of income coming in with those 54 SCVs, and he intercepts the shuttle drop once again, but a couple of cells are unloading here right next to the factories, where they're going to get taken down by those tanks and those Goliaths very quick. Leebokgu has to step up into his next tech switch if he wants to keep doing effective damage, because it's not looking all that great. He does have the fleet beacon there finished up. He's got air weapon and air armor on the way for his carriers, so he's definitely planning on switching. But I think Brain knows. Brain has been scanning really well. He's got a lot of Goliaths. He's got some tanks. Not a lot of tanks, but he's got some tanks, which don't do anything against carriers. But the Goliath-Valkyrie combo is amazing against the carriers. So he can fight against carriers if those carriers do arrive. And he's been upgrading as well. He's got 1 upgrades for his mech. And shuttles making their way through. Not arriving on destination. They go down just shy. And the Zealots there unloaded don't do that much damage. So yeah, Leebokgu has been falling short for the last 6 minutes. He's not been achieving much. The most he achieved was to drop here in the bottom corner while also dropping here, which wind up killing about 30 SCVs in total, but not the right SCVs. He killed only the SCVs that were on the gas, which was about 27 SCVs there that he had on the gas. But he killed no worker or mining SCVs. Alright, so he comes in with another drop. This one is going to get intercepted by Valkyries as well and goes down pretty much uncontested. There's Zealots there on the low ground though, but the Zealots are getting blocked by SCVs. They're getting on top of the tanks there now though, and he's going to have to unsiege very quick, otherwise he would kill his own SCVs with the splash damage from his tanks. These 2 tanks are going to go down, but the Goliaths are going to clean up the Zealots, and once again, Brain holds it without sustaining any real losses. But the fact that he unsieges tanks so quick, knowing what Leebokgu is going for, tells us a lot. And Brain, having hit maximum supply count, doesn't want to wait any longer. He does not want to give Leebokgu the chance to switch over into carriers. So he's going to force Leebokgu to stay on gateway units. He has a lot of courses here as well that are fighting against the Valkyries, but they might not do all that much, although he's going for a mass tank drop somewhere on... Let me select them. Right, there they are. I kept using control click, but he wouldn't select all of them. Not sure why that was happening. Although he's going to go. Who's going for the Nexus? Leebokgu has been very sloppy with his Nexus cannoning. There's pretty much nothing here. There's 3 tanks, well, 4 cannons, but he's alone all of his tanks there, and on top of the probes. He's going to kill a lot of probes here with those tanks, and yeah, there's only 33 left. And he impede the Nexus there as well. The Nexus goes down pretty quick, and that is a very, very strong observation there from Brain. Noticing that Leebokgu had pretty much no cannons around his Nexus, so all he had to do was get some dropships, fly some tanks over, EMP the Nexus, kill the Nexus, and yeah, that is a criminal offense from Leebokgu, honestly. Leebokgu should... That's a huge oversight. Normally, you would be making about at least 20 cannons around your Nexus just to avoid this exact situation from happening, and Brain saw it. Brain went for the option, even though he was, being kept pretty small back home. He saw the option, went for it, and is now making life impossible for Leebokgu, because Leebokgu now on 24 probes, no money in the bank whatsoever, pretty much no income as well. Now has to try and break through this frontal wall here with only Zealots. does have a drop there on the way. The drop there might do some damage, might not do damage, because there's of course Valkyries there ready to intercept. A lot of Valkyries went down against Corsairs though. It's going to elope behind enemy lines. Oh, that's a lot of Reavers there. A lot of Reavers, but the Reavers go down very quick. Storm's there as well on the tanks, but he has to break through this wall here in the front first. Zealots cannot get through because he's building a new wall very quick. He's going to try to get on top, but this is so frustrating for Leebokgu. He gets through in the end. It's a lot of Zealots, but more tanks are on the way. He's going to be spawning very soon, but the Zealots are on top of the tanks, actually. What's happening? Alright, the tanks in the back have spawned. More Zealots are on the way. He's got a Templar there as well. Templar has no energy for a storm. Zealots are stuck there in the front. He's going to have to walk them through manually. Vultures are spawning as well, and Brain is kiting backwards in between his factories to try and force as few Zealots getting through as possible. But Leebokgu somehow managed to break through. He should have done this long ago. And he's getting results here. He's getting on top of the tanks, but the tanks are too great in number, and there's too few minerals for him to replace his lost Zealots with, and Brain wins game number 2. Brain played a very solid defense there. Very solid defense. He didn't have a lot of units. I'm not sure how he does it with so few units. Leebokgu had some pretty good drops, but the drops all fell short because apparently Brain is one of the best anti-drop players. Maybe that's what makes him so good. Maybe his anti-drop ability is what makes him so strong. Somehow he manages to sustain as little damage as possible, at least most of the time, because last game, the game before this one, he did sustain some significant damage in terms of losing units. But he manages to somehow keep most of his workers, or at least the essential workers, alive to secure his income, and then use as few units as he can to defend. It's risky, because if it goes wrong, he loses pretty hard, as in the last game. But if it goes right, he pretty much has just the right amount of minerals, the right amount of income, the right amount of units to do everything he wants to do. So the score now, 1 win for both players, and we're going to game number 3 and see who wins this best of series between Leebokgu and Brain. So the final game between two of the top dogs in fastest map. Now Brain of course is the number 1, and Leebokgu is, in my opinion, somewhere around the number 4 or 5 if you were to rank all the players. Although he does have some slight weaknesses I've noticed here and there, is that he can get kind of repetitive with his method of approach. Certain other players would transition into a tech switch way quicker. He kind of stays on the same thing, which is something I think he does make a tech switch pretty early on. At around 16 minutes he'll have carriers, but last game around he was trying to keep up the pressure non-stop, and it somewhat backfired, I guess. He didn't have enough minerals, or at least not enough gas, to build a carrier switch while mass dropping so frequently. Now, if mass dropping that frequently works, you can ease up the pressure a little bit and go into carriers pretty damn early as well. But as long as the opponent manages to mitigate the damage to the least possible, the Terran should be fine. And you cannot afford to give the Terran more time. So this is a pretty interesting opening, because Brain went for a +1 command center and 2 barracks into an academy, whereas Leebokgu is going for Dragoon range, and Dragoons might actually be the worst thing that Brain could be facing in this scenario. There's only 2 barracks, an academy is there though, but he's going for stim upgrade. He has no idea that these Dragoons are on the way. Once those Dragoons arrive there on the scene, he is going to be in for a world of hurt. 6 Marines, Dragoon range is finishing up right at the exact right timing here, and he arrives on the scene, and now Brain has to be wondering, oh dear God, I am in for a world of trouble, and this is probably going to be one of the hardest fought matches for Brain in the history of fastest map, at least for him. Because look at this, there's 3 Dragoons here alive. There's medics here on the scene. Stim upgrade has finished up. No, he switched over to Marine range. He cancelled the stim upgrade, went over for Marine range. He's gonna have to sacrifice SCVs to get a surround on Dragoons. He gets a pretty good surround on one Dragoon. Another one is gonna go down. He's running away to the front there. The Marines are mostly still alive, so somehow Brain managed to do a great job there by pulling SCVs. But pulling SCVs hurts your economy. But do note he had more SCVs than he usually would have because he went for that +1 command center start. But now he is in the face of danger. Because Dragoons are attacking the front here, and he's losing SCVs there, and the bunkers in the front are going to need some real repairing. And the more SCVs are going to have to arrive on the scene. He's got that factory up and running pretty damn early, but he still needs siege mode, and he needs a tank. But the Dragoons are being zoned away because that Marine range upgrade has finished for Brain, which now means that Leebokgu has to switch over to something else. So even though that situation looked extremely bad for Brain, with some amazing unit control and great decision making, no panicking, he does the exact right thing and secures his entrance and keeps those pesky Dragoons away. Now also do note that because Leebokgu knows that this was probably going to happen the moment he got in there, he discontinued making Dragoons and went for a Robo Facility, Support Bay, and a Citadel of Doom. Added on 2 more Nexi to help further his economy, because he's going to need a higher pro production to transition into the next phase, because I don't think it's going to work to stick to Dragoons, because the tank there in the back is going to make Dragoons useless. But he's got something up his sleeve. The shuttle is finished, Reaver is on the way. He's got Talos Archive on the way there as well, Citadel Doom is finished, he's got more gateways going to be coming in soon as well, because he's moving it. I thought it was going to make 2 gateways because it looked like it was going to move here to build 2 gateways, but it's instead going to be a forge. Alright, because he didn't have a forge yet. And of course you need a forge, which you need some cannons in your base after all. So once again, Brain is going for the anti-drop special. Going for a double starport to build 2 raids. And maybe go up to 10 raids once again to one-shot those shuttles with Wraith Volleys. Choke here in the front is being built up as well, and the engineering base there on the way. He's got no detection in the form of turrets, but he does have a scanner in the back. So everything is looking pretty fine here, pretty good there for Brain, who is throwing out scans to keep track of what his opponent is doing. He might have seen that Reaver shuttle there as well, he might be sending out 2 raids to intercept it, but he might not be in time, because the shuttle's going to fly in right here, right now. No, he's waiting, he's making a mistake. Oh well, the Wraith finished just in time. He goes in right now, he's flying into 2 Wraiths there. He's going to have to unload that Reaver prematurely. Reaver's going to go down instantly and does not get any damage done. And that's pretty painful there for Leebokgu, because he was already slowed down with his progression into tech. And now he's going to get slowed down a little bit more. Also do note both players are on about the same worker count, although Leebokgu is propelling ahead, because he has 2 Nexi, which means he's getting 12 probes per minute, maybe 14, maybe 2 extra per 3 minutes, maybe 3 extra, somewhere around that number. Anyway, he's going to try to... He's getting more Dragoons here on the side. With those Dragoons, they're going to move there to the side to deny raids from flying past the hill, but also to deny engineering base and barracks to fly past the hill for extended vision. Much like this. So no extended vision past the hill there for Brain. So Leebokgu is doing some pretty good moves there, playing pretty smart, but he put himself in a pretty tough spot. If he had done more damage with that initial Dragoon push, he would have been in a better spot, of course, because more damage means that his opponent is further behind, but they're both about even. There's no wall there in the front though. This is not a wall. This is not a wall. You can walk right through, and that might end up hurting him in the long run. Wraith goes down there on the side. 1 more Wraith is left alive. Drop is going to come in from the left side. Well, I mean the right side. Because there's 3 shuttles there on the way. He's got Templars? 2 Templars. I count 6 Zealots there as well. But he has some Marines there on the side. He knows that something is going to be coming from the side there, because that's where the last confrontation was, and you wouldn't be putting that much effort into clearing out units. Oh, he goes in! Templars storming Great Storms there, kills all the Marines. Now the Zealots are going to kill the tank there in the back. There's an Archon moving there as well. The Zealots are doing some pretty great work, but they're going to get stimmed down. Marco is pretty great there from Brain as well, but Brain is going to come in with a double tank drop there on the top of it as well, and there's nothing in between there. This is going to be very bad here for Leebokgu. pulling his probes away, but he's gonna lose all his probes there nonetheless. Ouch, 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 ouch. Ouch! Oh, that's painful. Oh, man. Ow. But he's gonna come with a drop there at the same time as well, but his drop can intercept it. There's Templar there on the logo, but the Templar there storms on the Marines, storms on the command center there as well. Gets nothing done. Although his Archon there on the side is still wreaking havoc. He completely ignored the Archon there. Archon goes down in the end, but that tank drop on his workers was pretty darn painful. That's, as the Protoss, the very last thing you want to have happen. Now, Brain, of course, knew that it was an option because he was diligently scanning for information, and he saw that there's pretty much no cannons here around the command center, around the Nexus for Leebokgu. So he sends in his tank drop and kills, I think he killed about 35 workers there, which is really bad for Leebokgu. Now, do note Leebokgu has 2 extra command centers, so he can rebuild. But his base will remain rather small, and his offensive ability is also diminished because he has to spend all of his minerals on rebuilding his base and his worker count, which means less minerals used for attacking. So this situation here is very extremely bad for Leebokgu and very good for Brain, who's now on 56 SCVs. Only on 1 extra command center though. Usually he will have 2 more, but he's abstaining from building more command centers for now, mostly sticking to building more anti-drop. There comes a huge shuttle drop there, gonna come in. He starts unloading. Templar loading on Templar, gets sniped. Templar will arrive. Templar still, he gets the jackpot. He gets the jackpot. That is the one thing he wanted. That is the one thing he had to do. Kill SCVs, and Brain there being very sloppy, not pulling his workers off of his minerals. Loses, I think he lost about 45 there. A pretty damn good hit there for Leebokgu, which puts Leebokgu back in the driver's seat. Brain just handed it right back to him. That's one of the first times I see Brain not pulling his SCVs to safety when he's getting dropped by an opponent. And the one time he doesn't do it, it immediately backfires. It shows how close to the edge he is playing. Because now he has pretty much no units in his base. He has units, but I mean, he's going to start losing units and then have pretty much no units. Like right here, another great Templar storm there, and once again loses about 10 SCVs there, back to 13 SCVs in total. And he's losing tanks there as well. He's losing all of his tanks there in the back. There's only a single tank left, and is that 1 tank moving from the front to the back, 2 more joining in, and they're going to try to kill those zealots, but he's going to have to micro to avoid getting as much damage as possible. So he's minimizing that damage. He's going to have to intercept that shuttle there with the Valkyrie, but the Valkyries might not be in the best location to intercept them right away. He's moving them up to the top side. No, he's going to go from the right. Ooh, he's changing directions a lot. He's trying to trick me. He's going to go for a frontal attack there at the same time as well. There's only 4 Marines there in the front. Only 4 Marines are in the front to keep him away. And he's going to go. He's drawing the Valkyries away, but the Valkyries find the shuttles. So the shuttles there are going to go down pretty quick. But the frontal attack is the main point of focus. Because those Dragoons are tearing through those depots, and there's nothing to stop them. There's 1 tank there that is rolled up, is sieged up, is going to try to take them down. But there's a tank drop coming in as well. That's his last ditch effort, his last chance to get back into the game. He's unloading his tanks. They're unloading tanks everywhere. Probes are running away. He's killing 6, killing 10, killing 20. Kills 20. Oh, he killed 40. He killed 40 of them. This game is going back and forth. But there's a huge but here in the room. And that but is the fact that Leebokgu already had his next attack prepared, and he's still on more workers than Brain is at the moment. Brain is only on 25. He's adding another command center. Got 4 tanks there in the front. He's got 4 Marines in the bunker, 6 Marines there on the side, and he's got Valkyries. That is pretty much nothing at all. And he's facing danger. He's facing some real danger here. He's facing a real danger in the sense of this drop filled up with 4 zealots. 2 Reavers. Oh, it's going to intercept. It's going to get shut down pretty much instantly. He loads 2 Reavers there in the corner, and there's nothing to stop those 2 Reavers, so he's going to crawl up and kill stuff there on the top corner, which is going to force 3 tanks to roll up to the back. But those tanks cannot siege up too close because they're going to go down then as well. He's moving closer, gets 1 kill on 1 tank, but this Reaver is going to go down before it can kill anything else. But that's a pretty bad situation there for Brain because he loses 6 turrets, loses a tank, which is something he cannot handle at the moment because he's on 32 SCVs. He's pretty damn poor. He's pretty damn poor. He cannot afford to lose any of his gas units or his mineral units at all. He cannot afford to lose anything. So once more, a drop here on the bottom corner. Well, not the bottom corner, below Brain's base. Leebokgu, because he is on 2 nexuses, is already on 56 workers once again. And he's flying in from 2 directions, it appears. This one's going to come in from the right, the other one is going to come in from the left. He's sending this one in first, just to make sure that the units are going to be dropped. Oh, Brain is going to have to make a hard choice here. He goes for the one on the right, but this one has Templars in it as well. He's going to storm on the SCVs. SCVs are running away. No, he misses all the SCVs there, but there's now a Zealot there in the back. He's got 1 more Templar there as well. Templars getting focused down by SCVs. He storms on the Valkyries. He's losing Valkyries there, and now there's 2 Zealots running amok in his base. Does he have more Templar energy? No more Templar energy, but the Zealot there in the back is dealing some damage. Templar there goes down. The Zealot there goes down. Zealot there is attacking the science facility. But the big problem is going to be this next drop is going to be coming in. Well, it's only Zealots, but anything that flies into Brain's base now is going to be a lot of trouble for him. So 4 Zealots unloading under the cover of those Corsairs, and the shuttles do go down in the end to the Valkyries. But the Zealots are now on top of the tanks, and there's 6, well, there's only 3 actually. The other 2 are killing turrets on the bottom side. Brain is microwing his way to safety, but Leebokgu changes his focus and he's going to kill the turrets, which means his follow-up drops are going to be extremely easy to fly in. That is, of course, given the condition that these Valkyries are able to intercept the shuttles. Otherwise, those drops are going to be lethal. Looks like it's going for... this drop is going to fly in over the right side. This is pretty much just a drop... game of drops, basically. There's almost no frontal attacks, almost no mix-ups, because, well, both players can't really afford mix-ups with how often they have lost their workers. Also, the drop is here on the top side. There's 4 shuttles, no, 5 shuttles. 5 shuttles in total. And there's Zealots in, well, one of them is empty. There's no Templars in there. He's sending some Dragoons here to the front to see and get something done, but he can't get anything done because the tanks are killing the Dragoons. He's got another drop there coming in from the bottom side, so he's going for a double drop once again. This one's going to fly in first. Does he have Templars in there? Oh, this is a lot of units. Oh, the Corsairs are going to kill the Valkyries, and losing the Valkyries is going to be lethal, and he's going to unload this mass drop of Zealots here on the top of the tanks there as well. So now means he's got pretty much... oh, the Zealots have... oh, the Templars in there as well. The SCVs are running away, but the SCVs are caught in between 2 separate groups of units. He loses a couple of his SCVs, but he loses all of the units here in the back as well, and he's losing units here on the bottom corner as well, but Brain stays alive for now. He's got Goliath there. Goliath is going in to kill the Zealots. The Zealots have level 1 shield again. Why is he going for a shield? Because he wants to transition into carriers and ground... oh. Anyway, he's losing Goliaths. I know why he's going for shields though, because he wants to go for carriers, and ground weapon and armor upgrades don't do anything for carriers. But I think it's useful to go for a weapon and armor at least if you're relying on drops up until 17 or 20 minutes into the game. It's definitely worth it to get those ground force upgrades. So after a lot of fighting here inside of Brain's base, and he killed about 5 or 6 SCVs and a lot of units. A lot of units went down there from Brain. Leebokgu is in a pretty convincing lead. He's got 65 workers, so his worker count has risen steadily. He's got that fleet beacon finished, and he's now finally warping in his Stargaze to start building a carrier fleet to transition into after he deals a little bit more damage with his follow-up drop. Now Brain has some units to intercept it, but I think Leebokgu is just going to unload as soon as he flies in. Is there a Templar in there? No Templars, only Zealots, although he's not unsieging his tanks are in the back, although they're out of range. Units on the bottom side have gone down, 2 of those Zealots, so all of the Marines have gone down. The Goliaths are going down as well. He killed all the... oh, one of them is still alive. The tank is gonna go down no, he's gonna get microed? Ooh, the glide goes down to Indiana, but he's killing SCVs with his Zealot there in the back, so he's just unleash those tanks, move them up closer, but he's not gonna get any time because another drop's already flying in here from the bottom side. Goes in, there's nothing there. Oh, there's some Valkyries there to intercept the Zealots. Oh, units are unloading. Nah! Units are gonna make it all the way. Templars, no, there's a Templar in there as well. Templar storms, he hits one SCV goes down, but now there's Zealots once again in his base, and there's simply only 6 tanks. He's got 6 tanks to defend against a Templar. Yeah, he calls it GG. He knows it's over. There's still a Templar there in the mix. Brain knows it's over. Brain knows he bit off more than he can chew. And Brain loses the Terran vs. Protoss best of 3 series. He held on longer than he should have. This game went on for 19 minutes. He managed to stay alive with so little for so long. Also because, of course, he kept hitting Leebokgu's workers. Well, he hit his workers around, I think, about only 2 times, but killing probes really slows down the Protoss. Really well played there from Leebokgu. He relied only on shuttling drops into the enemy base and killing whatever he could find, because that's basically what he has to do, kill units that are there. Because Brain is a player who lifts up his barracks very early and relies only on starports and factory units to defend himself, and as you can see right here, that might not have been the best choice. When it works, he is playing, but when it works, he has a lot of minerals left over to build a lot of factories very quick and go for a pretty strong timing attack. But in the case where he is incapable and unable to keep himself from losing units or sustaining damage, he has a very small amount of units to defend with, a very small amount. And defending becomes very micro-intense. So as you saw, he had to micro his tanks and stutter step them away from the Zealots on pretty much every single drop attempt. It was very hard for him to survive or stay alive and kill those units. Now imagine if Leebokgu had level 1 or level 2 weapon and level 2 armor on his Zealots instead of level 1 shields. Those Zealots would have killed a lot more stuff. He would have done a lot more damage if that shield upgrade had been a weapon upgrade or an armor upgrade, or 2 armor upgrades and 2 weapon upgrades. Because he could afford it. Well, he only had a single forge. He could have simply, very easily made 2 more forges and gotten those ground force upgrades. But in the end, it doesn't matter because he wins the game. So yeah, great job, Leebokgu. You beat Brain pretty convincingly, something not a lot of players can do. Even, again, with Protoss, they have a hard time beating Brain. So yeah, thanks for watching. And I hope you enjoyed this series. I had a little bit of an absence because the weather was too warm, and right now the weather has calmed down to about 24 or 25 degrees Celsius, which is very comfortable. So you can expect more videos coming in this week, because I have acquired some pretty nice replays that I want to bring to you. So yeah, thanks for watching, and don't forget to like or subscribe if you want to. It's all up to you. You decide. You have the power.